Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about things that I use on a daily basis at my job as a special education paraprofessional. So I made a little list of things on this post-it here. If I think of anything else throughout the course of this video, I will add that in. However, I think these are basically everything I use like on a daily basis. Now there are other things that I will use like as part of my job, but not necessarily on a daily basis. So I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what we use on a daily basis as special education paraprofessionals, or at least me at my job, just to kind of give you an idea of what work looks like on a daily basis. So at the very top of my list is fidgets. I have a variety of different fidgets, some from little squishies like this, to longer squishies, little stretchy things they can play with, to like fidget spinners and different little toys that they can play with that can either help them or help distract them from continuing to do or engage in a certain activity or behavior, or something to get their attention to, like, say we need them to go to the bathroom and they're not wanting to go to the bathroom. Sometimes we may entice them to go to the bathroom by giving them some sort of fidget, or allowing them to bring a toy to the bathroom with them. Most of the kids that we have, because I work in early childhood special education, most of the kids that we have are not actually potty trained. So we end up either having to change pull-ups or change diapers, just depending on the student. So there are fidgets. I usually have a pocket stuffed full of fidget toys. It's less full on Fridays because we don't have our younger students, but we do still have our 3 older students, which one is preschool, one is kindergarten, and one is first grade. And usually we work with those students one-on-one. So the teacher will have one when he's not in preschool. I usually have the kindergartner, and the other para usually has the first grader. Second on my list is Kleenex. Especially now that the weather is colder outside, our kids get very sick. Their noses are constantly running, like it's been going on since August. Their noses have not stopped. They are coughing, they are sneezing. Yeah, you kind of need the Kleenex. And most of them, like if you try to get them to wipe their nose, or if you try to come up to them to wipe their nose, they're gonna grab their shirt and wipe their nose on their shirt. So we try to catch that before that happens, because then obviously, especially if we're outside at recess and they're doing that with their coat sleeves, then as you can imagine, when we go to help them put their coats on to get on the bus, it's not very pleasant. Which leads me to my third one, which is hand sanitizer. I have one of the little, like, I think it's the Sanny Back, whatever it's called, from Bath and Body Works. I usually keep one of those in my pocket at all times, or on my key ring with my key card and my classroom door key, because you never know when you're going to need hand sanitizer, especially with like all of the cooties and germs and sicknesses going around within the school building. I definitely feel safer using hand sanitizer until I'm able to get into a classroom or a bathroom where I can wash my hands. Another thing that I use on a daily basis, and this is usually with my one-on-one who is a kindergarten student, is pencil adapters or large pencils. We also use these with a couple of our resource students, where we pull them into our classroom to work with them one-on-one. When I say pencil adapters, we have these cute little things where it kind of teaches them how to hold the pencil if they aren't really sure how to do it. So it's like a little rubber silicone thing that you just put the pencil through the middle, and it has 2 little holes for their fingers to go in, and it has a little like loop on the back. If I remember, I will try to grab one at some point and show you guys kind of what they look like, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But really, it just helps them hold the pencil correctly, because otherwise a lot of our students, instead of holding it like this, they will hold it like this. And part of that is because we have really young students who haven't really had a lot of experience writing, but some of that is just because they don't have like the grasp or the motor skills to hold a pencil correctly. So we use pencil adapters. We also have the larger pencils that they're like double the size of a regular pencil. Another thing that we use on a daily basis in our classroom is Clorox wipes. Although right now we were using these wipes on our tables after like breakfast times and snack times in our room, but I do use Clorox wipes on like our arts and crafts table where we work with glue and glitter and markers and crayons and chalk and things like that, just to kind of clean everything off. It usually does a pretty good job getting like the washable markers off. The janitor did give us yesterday at our professional development, she gave us, what was it? It was like a food grade spray where if the student is eating at the table, or it's like a table where we normally have food passed out, we're really not supposed to use the Clorox wipes, just because if a student comes up and licks the table afterwards, you know, but so she gave us this food grade spray that they got shortly after COVID that they still have a whole big barrel left of. So we've been using those. Another thing that I use every day is my walkie-talkie or my radio. Every classroom has a radio. Not every staff member has a radio, which I don't think is really safe because like if there was some sort of emergency that happened with like active shooter or some sort of training or drill that needs to happen, you need to be notified of what's going on. And so like I usually keep mine on me at all times unless I'm like serving breakfast or helping with like the younger students during playtimes and things like that. I will put it in my cubby in the room where I have easy access to it, but it's not just hanging off my pants because our students like to grab things out of my pockets because they know I have fidgets. And so they will sometimes stick their hands in my pockets or they will mess with the walkie-talkie radio. And I don't like that because it's not a toy and I don't want them to think that it is. Something else that we use on a daily basis is visuals, especially me with my one-to-one, but also with our younger students, because we have students who are not necessarily very good at verbalizing certain things. It helps us to work with different visuals. So we have some visuals that are specific to certain students based on like things that they need more help with communicating. And then we have visuals taped down at every seat that our students normally sit in. So like when we're passing out snacks, we can put the snack in front of them, like in the package, and we can say, you know, do you want this snack? And then we can point to yes or no. And then if they need to, we will repeat it. We'll say their name. Would you like this snack? Yes or no? And we're trying to get them to the point where they will point to yes or point to no to tell us. And it's been actually working pretty well. And this was suggested by our speech people. So after that, patience and caring are two big things that I think are very important for anybody working in special education or just education in general, because you kind of have to meet your students where they are, and they're not always in a place where they're ready to learn or they're interested in learning. And so you definitely have to be very patient. You have to be very flexible with things, and you definitely have to have a caring side for you, because trying to bond and connect with a special needs student is sometimes very difficult, and sometimes it's very hard to work with them on a day-to-day basis because you never know what to expect sometimes as far as behaviors or how they're feeling or how the day's going to go. I have two more things. The next one is class schedules. I use these to kind of figure out like where I need to be at a certain time. So if I'm working with our ECSE students, then we have these schedules for each class posted in our classroom, and we have the class schedules in our classroom for ECSE, all of our grades, the grades for the resource students that we pull into our classroom, and then our one-on-one students. So we have ECSE, we have preschool, kindergarten first, and then I think there's third, maybe fourth. I can't remember. Oh, and there's a second grader too. So I look at those schedules to figure out like if I'm asked to go pull a resource student or walk around with a resource student, then I know like what their class is doing. So if they're at a special, then I can grab the person from the special, or if they're in their regular classroom, I can go to the regular classroom to get that person, if that makes sense. And last but not least is behavior charts. So there are two different types of behavior charts that we use on a daily basis in our classroom. One is for students that exhibit certain like aggressive tendencies. So there is one student who likes to scratch, kick, bite, all of the above, pull hair. And if that student exhibits those behaviors, we have to write down what time it was and the date. And so we have a chart hanging on the chalkboard that we will write that down. It has the student's name at the top and like different boxes that you can put that information in as needed. And the other type of behavior chart we have is like a reward system. So for example, we have a little clothespin and it has like a smiley face on it. And there's like 5 or 6 different levels, and the lower down you get is the more sad the pictures are getting. And if you get to a certain point, the student that you're using this behavior chart on does not get to go outside for recess, or loses a certain privilege or reward that we usually give them, whether that is going for a walk or like getting a sucker, because sometimes we reward our students with suckers for like completing a certain amount of work, things like that. So we use that sort of behavior chart type method. And if I remember, I will try to get that for you guys as well at some point so that I can show you guys kind of what I mean by behavior chart in that situation. So I think those are everything that I can think of right now. If I think of anything else, I can make a separate video or like leave it in the comments for you guys, so then you know that I thought of something else. If you work in special education, do you use all these things in your classroom? Or are there certain things that you think we should add to our daily usage? So yeah, anyways, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys next time.